I spend every day building different types of Raspberry Pi Cyberdecks, and there's a lot of Cyberdecks in Carbon Computers' catalog, and I've been working with them for around 7 months now, and I've gotten pretty good at adding different components that can truly make a Cyberdeck unique from the next one, and they have a lot of different ones that we have full videos on: the Pi Edge, the Pi-Flux, the uConsoles, the Hackberries, their own twist on both the ClockworkPi uConsole and ZTAO's Hackberry, and in this video I'm going to show you how you can put a GPS and a LoRa module into a Pi-Flux in particular, but you can do this with almost any Cyberdeck. There are so many microcontrollers and modules that can truly make your next build different from the next person. You don't really have to break the bank when it comes to putting certain components that you might need depending on what you're looking for. Now, a lot of people want LoRa on a Cyberdeck for Meshtastic or mesh core capabilities, and I think that's nice and all, as there are different modifications by, like, let's say, hacker gadgets for the uConsole, but I've figured out a way to kind of DIY all of those components into a Pi-Flux in particular. And also in this video, I'll give you guys a sneak peek on a new Cyberdeck that we've been working on for, I want to say, yeah, about 7 months now, called the Cyber T. Now, this is the version 5, but there's also the version 3, which I've teased a couple times, but the issue with it was made for the CM4, and you could jumper 2 pins to make it compatible for the CM5, and it's compatible with ZTAO's images as it's heavily influenced by the Hackberry, except it has a full embedded keyboard and a trackpad. But let's get started with this build. That way, you can see how easy you could pretty much do this with any Cyberdeck. If you're new to this channel, how's it going? I'm your pal Cal, and today we're gonna do some stuff. Now, before we continue, there's a few things that I definitely want to point out. One, the prices of Raspberry Pis have increased to astronomical levels, and it's gotten kind of hard to fulfill orders, especially orders that have been on hold for about 2 months. And we've sent out emails at Carbon Computers, and just for the record, it's just 2 guys. It's me and Mike, so please cut us some slack. But the price of Raspberry Pis have gotten to the point where they almost cost the price of a new laptop, and it's gotten insane. So I would recommend a bare bones kit if you just so happen to have a Pi laying around and you want to turn it into a Cyberdeck. But the price of Pis currently, they don't really make sense. Where the $50 single board computer that we know and love, with so much community support and driver support, which is why it's so amazing, is not the same anymore. The Pi is somewhat stale, and I feel like it'll be that way until prices go down. I got a full build guide on the Pi-Flux Cyberdeck, and on this one, it's pretty much the exact same build guide. Nothing has really changed except for the fact that we've added antenna mounts on the top, as well as here on the side, but I don't like using this one just because of the grill, so I kind of focus more on the top. For a GPS module, I'm using the ATGM336H, and if you want to wire this to the GPIO pins on the Pi, you want to make sure that on VCC it goes to 3.3, and on 3.3 in particular I have this DuPont splitter. That way I don't have to actually use a splitter on the GPIO. I can get 3.3 onto DuPont cables. I really like these splitters. You can make one yourself, or you can grab, they have a pack of them on Amazon, relatively inexpensive, and they're also like on AliExpress. Now, this is going to be our GPS module, so you want to make sure you wire up TX to RX, RX to TX, and if you want to wire up PPS, I want to say it is pin 13. I could be wrong, but basically on a Pi, you have 5 volt ground, TX, RX, and right after RX, you can wire up PPS. Another option is, I forgot the exact pin number, but if you count down 7, it should be the 7th pin, but don't quote me on that. I tested a whole bunch of different LoRa radios that I could fit into the Pi-Flux, and finally we settled with the Studio WioSX1262 ESP32-S3 Pro variant. I want to say it's called the Pro variant because it has the bottom female headers that you can also attach a camera SD card module. They have it with the Sense model. I think that's what it is. And it's very low profile as opposed to the NRF52 variant, which actually sandwiches together, and it becomes kind of thick, and it was tricky to fit inside a case. I would recommend, if you wanted to pretty much like conserve on power and you had the space for it, use the NRF52. If you're going for the lowest profile like I am, then an S3 with the Wii U hat that kind of attaches to the top, that's a lot better. Also, if you look here in the corner, I've added a UFL connector right here by scratching on the PCB to expose the ground plane with a fiberglass brush, and I've soldered on a 0 ohm resistor right over here. It's really tiny, it's kind of tricky. I have a short video on how to do this, and it all comes down to preference. There's a lot of people who want a Wi-Fi antenna mod on their Cyberdeck, so yeah, with this one, this is what we're doing. Now, I have the splitter on the 3.3 volt pin, which is going to allow us to power both the ATGM and the WioSX1262 S3. You don't want to power this on without an antenna present. I've already attached an antenna to the top of the Pi-Flux right here. So we're going to wire that IPEX to UFL right there, and then we're going to plug in the power without powering it on. I'm going to take this ceramic antenna and kind of put it here on the side. That way we have a built-in ceramic antenna. You could hypothetically add another SMA and have any type of external antenna that you choose from. We actually just did a video on awesome GPS antennas and inexpensive ones as well that can really give your GPS the best performance. Now for ground on the WioSX1262, I'm using pin 39, which is this end pin right at the end, and we're utilizing 3.3 5 volt to the display, ground on the display, RX and TX. If you want to, you could technically use a splitter with RX and TX and share it on a WioSX1262, but I only need it to give me power, so I'm just wiring 3.3 and ground. Now afterwards, it's going to be a little bit tricky, but you want to use double-sided tape to kind of line up both of the modules on both sides. It might seem like it's a little just out the way, but all you have to do is make sure that they stay secured in place. I would recommend using double-sided tape. You can use hot glue, just make sure you don't push on the SD card extender that's right over there. Now this is basically how I have everything laid out. I like to put the 2.4 antenna just completely out the way, sometimes on top of the USB-C ports, and I like to put the GPS on the bottom side right here where I can see the LED through the grill, just to make sure everything is pretty much working how it's supposed to be. The LoRa radio module is kind of the exact same situation. I want to be able to see the green light through the grill, and I want to make sure that the IPEX does not pop off and just kind of stays in place. The wiring might seem a little bit intimidating, but my whole life is pretty much dealing with a rat's nest of wires. Afterwards, we kind of want to safely make sure we put everything together. Now, like I mentioned, it is in fact a tight fit, so you want to make sure that you press fit everything and fit the actual emergency on and off switch straight to the top and tuck in the wires where you can. Now that we got everything kind of built and all together, we can power it on. But there's something I didn't tell you guys. AK Rex, who is the developer who maintains the ClockworkPi uConsole images for the CM5, and honestly, he has almost every Linux image that you could possibly want on a uConsole, made a custom image for the Waveshare DSi Touch A that's also compatible with the Pi Edge, the Pi-Slate, and a lot of all the other Pi Cyberdecks in Carbon Computers' catalog, and it's amazing. AK Rex is arguably a hero in the Cyberdeck space, as there would be no compatible images without him. I want to show you guys the new startup menu and how everything kind of comes together. Now we're going to boot it on. All of our lights are in fact on. Let's give it a second to start up. There we go. Now the splash screen startup, you could see the AK Rex logo at the top because the man is a legend. I love how he's branding his own splash screens on the images that he maintains. Then you got the Carbon Computers logo, the BWM logo in the middle, and of course my logo on the side. Now if you recognize this startup menu, that's because this is the exact startup on the ClockworkPi uConsole, which I find amazing, but I'm gonna leave this set up for the customer. That way he can set up his own image. AK Rex's contributions to the Cyberdeck community have been monumental because without him we wouldn't have so many compatible devices with different hardware like the Waveshare DSi Touch A, and I love the man to death. If you want to support AK Rex, I put the support links down below because the man is a legend. Also, I kind of told a half-truth in the beginning. I said that we were going to be going over the Cyber T that we're working on, but kind of want to show you guys something else by another developer. These are the new AIO prototypes by Hacker Gadgets, where you have SDR, GPS, and LoRa all built into one hat. It connects to the GPIO of a Raspberry Pi. Oops, sorry, like that. Connects to the GPIO of a Raspberry Pi. One has SMA connectors, that way, well, you can just plug in your antennas and then plug it into the Pi, while the other has IPEX or UFL connectors here on the side, which is what I plan on using in the future, hopefully on this exact build, because this would make life so much easier, but I think we would have to adjust the case model to be slightly thicker. That way we can fit everything in place. It says Raspberry Pi, RTL, SDR, LoRa, GPS, and real-time clock all in one hat. And I gotta admit, this prototype is beautiful, man. We've got dip switches on it right here on the side. That way we can adjust depending on what we actually need. And this is an RTL SDR, so it's receiving only. I want to assume that there's a USB-C here on the side for the AC1200 tri-band module that Hacker Gadgets has. I love that tri-band module. It really does turn any Cyberdeck into a tri-band beast, and is perfect when paired with a GPS for war driving. Clear also sent me this mini RTL SDR dongle, and we're going to be going over all of these prototypes in the future, as I have not even tested this RTL SDR dongle, but it's small, compact, and if it's as good as the other hats that we've tried, as well as the expansion board for the ClockworkPi uConsole, I've got high hopes for this thing. Now, this is the CNC front plate that we've been testing for the Cyber T, but unfortunately, this is the Cyber T version 3.1, I believe. Yeah, no, this is the 3.0. There have been like 5 revisions. This one fits the CNC front plate right here, but unfortunately it does not support the new prototype that we just got in. And what's different is we've added a real-time clock straight to the board. My little contribution has been the gigabit Ethernet here on the side. We've got a gigabit Ethernet controller on the front face now. There are doodles everywhere. Remember, this is a prototype, and if you see these anywhere, they're not available anywhere. We haven't released them yet. I'm not even technically supposed to be showing them right now, but the silk screen, the ENIG is amazing. We've got JSDs for us to attach a active cooler here at the top. Unfortunately, the female headers differ from the version 3 to the version 5 here, because I don't know what type of headers they used here, but I'm gonna have to use an adapter because it's a really tight fit. I'm still waiting on a few components, that way I can fully assemble this guy. I am slightly disappointed that the CNC front plate does not fit. That makes me so sad, and it's kind of a work in progress. There are RGB lights on the actual tack switch buttons, or to the side of the tack switch buttons rather, and it uses the same trackpad as the BlackBerry trackpad you'll find on the Hackberry as well, and other Cyberdecks and other custom keyboards. I just love the BlackBerry trackpad. It works so efficiently. You have an M.2 NVMe slot right here, and my personal contribution is the footprint for a removable ATGM336H GPS module, or any GPS module that matches the same pinout. Keyboard is powered by an RP2040, and there's a little expansion hub here at the top. Now, I had big ambitions for this thing. I wanted to add an infrared transmitter and receiver, and the ability to pretty much have a built-in RTL SDR or NFC support onto the board. Well, we settled for an ATGM336H and a gigabit Ethernet module, as well as some other added features that we'll be going over in the future, like a full-size HDMI port. If you're interested in a DIY kit or a fully completed Cyberdeck, and there's so many Cyberdecks on Carbon Computers' catalog, the website is carboncomputers.us, and for a discount, you can use the code Mayhem. If you're interested in supporting the channel and getting early access to prototypes, as well as a daily vlog and your name included in the credits, consider subscribing to our Patreon, as it really does go to support the channel, and it goes to support our work. I love your faces. Thank you so much for watching this video all the way through. If you're not subscribed, consider subscribing, because we go over different stuff all the time, my guy. I love your face. We'll see you next time.